Good morning, all of you. Today we'll discuss different methods of turn-on ACR or turn-on methods of ACR. We have already discussed what is ACR. It is a three-terminal, four-layer, three-junction device. Terminals are anode, cathode, and gate. ACR is a power electronic switch. We have to make it on. We have to turn on. Different methods for turn on ACR is, first one is forward voltage triggering. Number 2, temperature triggering. 3, DVID triggering. Number 4, light triggering. Number 5, gate triggering. First, we will discuss about the forward voltage triggering. So, what is forward voltage triggering? In forward voltage triggering, we have to apply or increase the voltage in forward direction. What is forward voltage? If anode is connected to positive side of the supply and cathode is connected to negative side of the supply, the ACR is considered as forward bias condition. And what is reverse bias condition? If anode is connected to negative side and cathode is connected to positive side, so it is said to be reverse bias condition. ACR can be turned on only when it is in forward bias condition. What is forward voltage triggering? In this method, we are applying forward voltage. Means anode is connected to positive side, cathode is connected to negative side. Voltage increases gradually. So beyond forward backward voltage, see the figure here. In this case, supply voltage is between anode and cathode. Gate cathode circuit is kept open, and forward voltage is gradually increased. See the here. See the axis, x-axis and y-axis. Arrow mark shows the direction of the increase in voltage. This is the forward voltage. It increases in positive direction. So initially, see, there is some leakage current. We have three junctions, J1, J2. When your ACR is in forward bias condition, we have junction J1 forward bias condition, junction J3 forward bias condition, and junction J2 in reverse bias condition. So we have to increase the voltage to break the depletion layer of junction J2. See here, voltage is gradually increases up to VBO. VBO stands for forward breakover voltage. When voltage increases, see here there is a small leakage currents are there, small rise is there, small leakage currents are there. When voltage reaches VBO, forward breakover voltage, your layer junction J2 breakdown and your ACR start conducting. In this mode, junction J1, J2 and J3 almost conducting. So your ACR act as a switch which is on. After VBO, suddenly your voltage drops and current rises sharply. Any small increase in voltage, your gate current rises sharply. So this is all about the forward voltage triggering. But there is some demerits of this method. In this method, it is not used or preferred because during turn-on time of thyristor, it is associated with large voltage and large current, which results in huge power loss and device may be damaged. So what is the voltage required for forward breakout voltage? Actually, we need around 400 voltage to turn on the FCR in forward voltage triggering. Practically in our laboratory, we don't have this voltage. So this voltages, these advantages, due to these advantages, it is not preferred for turn on. And this large voltage causes large current and huge power loss. Next method of turn on is light triggering. According to name light triggering, we have to put some light so that your SCR is turned on. When SCR is in forward bias condition, see here, SCR is in forward bias condition, we have to put light on junction J2. In forward bias condition, anode is connected to positive side of the supply, cathode is connected to negative side of the supply. During that period, junction J1 is forward bias condition, junction J3 also in forward bias condition, junction J2 in reverse bias condition. So there is a terminal created or made by that is called niche. In this terminal, we have to put the light. In this terminal, we have to put light so that barrier junction J2 depletion layer gradually reduces and increase the number of electron hole pair and the thyristor may be turned on. Practically, this method is used in LASCR. LASCR stands for Light Activated Silicon Control Rectifier. Generally, this method is used in phase control converter in HVDC transmission. See here once again, this is light triggering. By putting light in inner P layer, SCR can be turned on. As intensity of light increases, depletion layer of junction J2 reduces and creates electron hole pair and its conductivity increases. Earlier junction J1 and J3 is forward bias condition because it is in forward bias condition. So after increase of intensity of light, junction J2 became conducting and your SCR will turn on. Next method of triggering is temperature triggering. When SCR is in forward bias condition, junction J1 is forward bias condition, junction J3 is forward bias condition, and junction J2 is in reverse bias condition. If you put light, if you put temperature in junction J2, depletion layer of junction J2 gradually reduces and at short time it will start conducting. So this method is called also temperature triggering or thermal triggering. If the temperature gradually increases or intensity of temperature gradually increases, this result electron hole pair to be increased across junction J2. Earlier, your SCR is in forward bias condition, junction J1 and J3 is in forward bias condition, and by increasing the temperature, the depletion layer of junction J2 reduces. So it starts conducting, but there is some demerits or disadvantages. This type of turn on is not preferred as it result in thermal away and hence it is avoided. Practically, temperature triggering is avoided. It is not used. Next method of triggering is dVdt triggering. What is dVdt? That is sudden rise of voltage across junction J2. Your SCR may start conducting. That method of triggering is called dVdt triggering. But practically, this dVdt triggering is not used. So let us understand what is dVdt triggering. When SCR is in forward bias condition, your junction 1 and junction J3 are forward bias, and junction J2 is reverse bias condition. Junction J1 start as a conductor, junction J2 act as a conductor, but junction J2 act as an insulator. So the junction J2 behaves as a capacitor between two conducting plates like J1 and J3, and dielectric in J2 means your junction J1 act as a conducting plate, junction J3 act as a conducting plate, and junction J2 act as a dielectric. Obviously, it will act as a capacitor. So what is the charging current flowing through the capacitor? I is equal to C dV by dt. When dV by dt is the rate of change of applied voltage and C is the junction capacitance. Therefore, if the rate of rise of forward voltage means dV by dt means sudden rise of voltage is high, the charging current will be high. So this charging current turn on the SCR and thyristor will start conducting even there is no gate current. This method is not practically used or avoided because it may cause false turn on. We don't need in turn on, but sudden rise of voltage in a fraction of time, it will turn on. This is called false turn on process. And this produces a very high voltage spike across the SCR. So there will be considerable damage to it. So this method also practically avoided. Next, most preferable method of turn on SCR is gate triggering method. So what is gate triggering method? We know SCR can be start conducting if it is in forward bias condition. Means anode is connected to positive side of the supply, cathode is connected to negative side of the supply. During this condition, we can apply gate pulse which may turn on the SCR. In gate triggering method, generally positive voltage around 8 to 10 volt is applied between gate and cathode terminal. By applying 8 to 10 volt across this gate and cathode terminal, we can turn on the SCR at around 90 to 100 volts. If the gate current increases, if the gate current will be more, so turn on voltage may be less. So this is the most suitable method because This voltage is available in our laboratory, and very small voltage is required, or small voltage is connected between gate and cathode terminal. So this gate triggering method, three types. First one is DC gate triggering, AC gate triggering, and pulse gate triggering. So what is DC gate triggering? In DC gate triggering, when your SCR is in forward bias condition, means anode is connected to positive side, cathode is connected to negative side, connect one DC voltage source between anode and cathode. This DC voltage source is around 10 to 12 volt, which is connected between gate and cathode. By increasing the voltage gradually, your SCR may be turned on. So this method is called DC gate triggering. Next method is AC gate triggering. When your SCR is in forward bias condition, we can turn on the SCR by applying the AC supply between gate and cathode. When your SCR is in forward bias condition, gate current increases during positive half cycle of supply. When gate current increases and reaches gate triggering voltage, your SCR will turn on. But demerits of this type of supply, it causes high power loss because negative cycle we don't have any use. Next most preferable method is the pulse gate triggering. This method is very popular method, widely used nowadays. When SCR is in forward bias condition, we can apply very small pulse across gate and cathode so that your SCR will turn on. Because if the SCR turned on, gate has no control over the conduction or commutation. Only gate pulse is used to turn on the SCR. Out of these three methods, DC gate triggering, AC gate triggering, your pulse gate triggering, this pulse gate triggering is the most preferable method which causes small power loss. Due to this, it is most popular method of triggering. In gate triggering method, we need different circuits. That is R triggering circuit, it is known as resistance triggering circuit. RC triggering circuit, resistance capacitor triggering circuit. UJT triggering circuit, it is a pulse triggering circuit. These are the most common method of triggering. Next we have switching characteristic of the SCR. What is switching characteristic? SCR may be turned on or SCR may be turned off. Switching characteristic is divided into two parts. Switching characteristic during turn on and switching characteristic during turn off. What is switching characteristic during turn off? If the forward voltage thyristor can be turned on by applying the positive voltage between gate and cathode terminal, but it takes time to go from forward blocking mode to forward conduction mode. So this turn on time consists of delay time, rise time, and spread time. See the figure here. This figure shows turn on switching characteristic. Look to the waveform. First one is between gate current and time. Next, anode current and time. And anode cathode voltage VAK and time. We have three times. Delay time, TD stands for TD delay time. See here. TR stands for rise time. TS stands for spread time. What is delay time? It is a very important definition. TD stands for delay time. TR stands for rise time. TS stands for spread time. So it is the time between gate current which is 90%. See here, it is 0.9 Ig. Gate current reaches 90% to the time your anode current reaches 10%. It is 0.1 IT. It is 0.9 Ig. So this time is called delay time. Once again, turn on characteristic, it is the transition time to make the SCR on. It consists of three timing periods, TD, TR and TS. So TD stands for delay time, TR stands for rise time and TS stands for spread time. See the figure here, first waveform between gate current and time. Gate current rises linearly with increasing voltage and after reaching 100% it becomes steady. Gate current becomes steady. What about anode current? If you increase the voltage, anode current increases slowly and it becomes steady after the spread time. What about anode cathode voltage? Initially, entire voltage appears across FCR, and when FCR is turned on, voltage reduces gradually. So, what is delay time? TD. It is the time lapse between 90% of gate current. See here, dotted line 0.9 Ig between 10% rise of anode current. This period is called delay time. Next is rise time. This portion is TR. This is the rise time. It is the time period between 10% of anode current to 90% of anode current. See here, 10% of anode current here to 90% of anode current here. It is the time period. It's called rise time. Next is your spread time. Spread time is the time between 0.9 means 90% of anode current and 100% of anode current. So the time made your anode current to reach from 90% to 100%. This time is called spread time. So this is all about the turn on switching characteristic. Next we have turn off switching characteristics. See here. In turn off process, when a SCR is switched on, gate current have no control. We have to turn off the SCR. If we reduce gate current to 0, means it has no effect over the anode current. For turning off your SCR, we have to reduce the anode current. Means anode cathode voltage is gradually reduces and your anode current gradually reduces. When your anode current gradually reduces below holding current, your SCR will be turned off. What is holding current? This holding current is related to turn off process. It is the minimum amount of current below which your SCR will turn off. Generally, holding current is less than latching current. Latching current is related to turn on process and holding current related to turn off process. After the anode current fall to 0, we cannot apply forward voltage across the device due to presence of charge carriers. So we must recombine these charges to proper turn off. We have to apply reverse voltage for certain time so that your charge carriers across junction J1 and J2 and J3 should be removed so that your SCR will turn off. If anode current reaches holding current, your SCR will not completely turn off because there is active charge carriers across junction J1, J2, J3. What is the condition for turn off your SCR? SCR should be reverse bias condition and reverse voltage or SCR should, the current should reduce to 0 and reverse voltage applied for certain time so that your SCR will be turned off. Turn off time of SCR consists of the interval between anode current reaches 0 and your SCR regain its forward blocking state, means junction J1, J2, J3 became in blocking state. On the basis of this charge carriers from the 4 layers or remove of charge carriers from 4 layers or from junction J1, junction J2 and junction 3, turn off time of the SCR can be divided into 2 regions. First one is reverse recovery time and gate recovery time. I will explain with the proper diagram. See the here. This is the graph between anode current and time. This is the anode cathode voltage and time. See, we have T1 to T3. It is TRR. And it is TGR. TGR means gate recovery time or gate recovery voltage. TRR, reverse recovery voltage. See here, we are interested to turn off the SCR. Anode cathode voltage gradually reduces to 0. See here, current is gradually reducing to 0. Current is gradually reducing to 0 here. At this place, current is below holding current. But at this place, your SCR will not turn off because charge carriers are in favorable condition. We have to apply reverse voltage for certain time here. See, we have to apply reverse voltage for certain time so that your charge carriers should be brought to blocking state. See here, reverse voltage is applied for certain time up to TRR. So TRR is the time period the charge carriers across junction J1 and J3 are brought to blocking state. Next we have TRR. So TRR is the time period charge carriers across junction J2 became removed and it is coming to the blocking state. So generally uptime consists of TRR and TGR. After TRR and TGR, your ACR is completely turned off. But when your current reaches zero, but your charge carriers across junction J1, J2, J3 in favorable condition, if you apply gate supply suddenly, your ACR will turn on. It is not completely turned on. So this is all about your turn on methods of the ACR.